Hello and welcome, race fans, to the iRacing Fantasy National Series season finale from Homestead Miami Speedway. This is the championship round. We have 4 drivers coming in with a shot to win the title, but we're going to give you a little bit of a preview of the action you'll see on track tonight, and then we'll introduce our 4 championship contenders. So don't go anywhere.
Everybody ready, set, go. Rev it up and let's roll. There's a party in the fast lane. Got my hands on the wheel and I'm flying. Heartbeat loud as the thunder rolls. Riding in on the stampede of lightning. I'm bringing back the sunshine. Bringing back the sunshine. Baby, it's about time. Bring it back.
We are here at the racetrack for our season finale. 4 drivers coming into tonight's race with a shot at the championship. Let's take a look at those 4 drivers. See if we can actually update this image here. We got the wrong car number for Mr. Chad Guennigsman. There we go. Number 16 machine of Chad Guennigsman is going to be one of your 4 contenders. Chris James, the number 1 machine, he comes into this race with 3 wins on the season. Evan Longacre also coming in. He won 2 races ago, and he locked himself in with a last lap pass and his first victory here in the National Series. Dakota Jorgensen also in contention to win here. He doesn't have any wins on the season, but he has earned his way in with solid finishes week in and week out. And it could really be any of these 4 drivers. Their performance so strong each and every week. So let's introduce you to our 4 playoff contenders, starting with Mr. Chris James. And fortunately, I was muted there. Chris James, of course, one of the contenders, but Dakota Jorgensen now on the racetrack in turns 3 and 4. Cole Williams has taken the top spot on the boards. Evan Longacre rolling out on the racetrack. Jorgensen coming across the line. And he is just starting his flyer lap now. And Chris James jumps to 6th on the board with a 31.122, a pretty solid lap there, only about a 10th off of Guennigsman. Dakota Jorgensen now into turn 3, coming through 3 and 4. And we'll see where he puts his time in. Jorgensen goes to 4th, and currently the top of the playoff drivers. Evan Longacre on the racetrack now. He was fastest out of those 4 in the practice session, but we'll see if that speed carries over into qualifying, and if Evan can get a nice solid lap in here. A little bit low out of turn 4 there. Comes across the line, puts up a 30.916, and that'll move Evan Longacre to the top spot. Great lap time there. And he takes over the pole position for the moment. Matthew Wilford, that number 86 Coastal Carolina Camaro, he's out here trying to put his lap time in. Out of turn number 4. He comes across the start-finish line, gets his flyer lap moving now, and he may just get it in. I'm not totally sure if he's going to get to the flag before the session ends. But down the backstretch he goes, 15 seconds remaining. And we've had 17 drivers take a time. Dylan Canova goes to the top spot now with his lap time, but Matthew Wilford spinning it out of turn number 4, so he will not get a lap in. And Dylan Canova is going to be your pole sitter, so let's go to our starting grid for tonight's event. As they are getting onto the racetrack, let's see where everybody is starting here tonight, and we'll point out our playoff contenders as we go through the field. Rolling off on the pole tonight, Dylan Canova, 30.753, an absolutely blistering lap, and he carries over his speed from the practice session into qualifying and takes the pole here tonight. Evan Longacre going to be rolling off on the outside. He is the first of the 4 playoff championship contenders, and he'll be rolling off there on the front row. In row number 2, it's Cole Williams and Jeffrey Meyer in 3rd and 4th. Grayson Sullivan going to be starting in 5th. Dakota Jorgensen starting in the 6th position. Good starting spot for Dakota as he looks to challenge for a championship here tonight. Zach Adams rolling off 7th. Chad Guennigsman going to be starting in the 8th position, another championship contender. Tyler White going to be rolling off in 9th, and Cody Jordan rounds out the top 10. Chris James going to be the final of the 4 championship contenders. He'll be starting in the 11th spot. Jeremy Ogle going to be rolling off on his outside in the 12th position. Stephen Parks going to be starting in 13th here. Kevin Roy rolling off in 14th. Cole Hooper, that number 14 machine, starting in 15th. Cole Early starting in 16th. Hilton Young going to be rolling off in 17th, and last of the drivers to take a qualifying time. First of the drivers to not take a time was Dalton Williamson starting in 18th. Brandon Andrews going to be starting in the 20th position. Logan Helton rolling off in 21st. Tim Rivers going to be starting in 22nd. James Love going to be rolling off in the 23rd position. Carson Bowers starting 24th. Matthew Wilford starting in the 25th spot. And that is going to do it for our field here tonight. So 25 drivers, only 4 of them competing for a championship. And the whole season has come down to this. Who is going to come out on top here? Who's going to win the race? Is it going to be one of those 4? Or will somebody spoil the party like Dylan Canova? But who's your pick here tonight? Your favorite driver? Cheer him on in the chat. And we'll let them know that you're out here cheering them on. And call out your pick to win the race. We'll see if you're right at the end of this. But the field working down the back straightaway. Now we are almost there. This is the final race of the season, the 2019 season. And these drivers have worked so hard all season long to get here. And we've got 4 drivers fighting for that championship. Evan Longacre, Dakota Jorgensen, Chad Guennigsman, and Chris James. All of them starting in the top 11 here. Dylan Canova waiting for that pace car to make the hard left, and it will. Waiting on the green flag. Green flag in the air. We're underway from Homestead, Miami for the iRacing Fantasy National Series Championship round, the finale here, as Dylan Canova gets the field down into turn number 1. He'll take the lead away, commanding lead now 3 car lengths out in front of Evan Longacre, who rides in the 2nd position. And they start stacking up behind there. Cole Williams out in front of Jeffrey Meyer and Grayson Sullivan. Behind them, Zach Adams, Dakota Jorgensen going side by side for the 6th and 7th positions, as Jorgensen working up high here. Got to be careful racing around just on lap number 2 here, as he goes to the outside now of Grayson Sullivan. And the 19 going to give him plenty of space to operate. And we're going to bring up our ticker here so you can follow along with your favorite driver throughout the event. As everything's still pretty reasonably clean out here. We've got a 3-way battle just outside the top 10 between Stephen Parks, Tyler White, and Cole Hooper here, the 38, 93, and 14, as Tyler White gonna drift back a little bit. Oh, they make contact. That's gonna send the 14 into the wall. He's still trying to gather that thing up, bouncing it off the wall. Now down into the 93. They spin down on the apron, and caution's gonna fly here. Not sure if anyone else was involved, but let's go take a look at how that happened. Yeah, I mean, you saw it there, the 14 and the 93. Cole Hooper down low. Let's go to a different view here. The 93 just coming down the racetrack, gets into the 14, and he's trying to gather it up, bounces it off the wall, started to catch it, but they both slide down onto the apron into the grass early on here. Trouble for those two. Not sure if anybody was behind them. The 91 was down on the apron there coming off the pit lane. The 2 machine of Dalton Williamson was right behind this. And no playoff contenders back there, so actually let's take a look. Where was Chad Guennigsman? He's right there behind Chris James. That all happened behind him, so none of those guys in trouble as the top 3 remain on the racetrack. Everyone else takes it down pit road. Dylan Canova leading Evan Longacre and Dalton Williamson. Those 3 staying on the racetrack. Matthew Williford on the pit lane. It's somehow scoring him as the leader, but that is not going to be the case. Not sure why it's showing that, but he gets out of his pit lane there, that number 86 machine. And now it's corrected itself. Dylan Canova at the front, but let's go to a quick commercial break to hear a word from some of our sponsors. And back to the racetrack now. The field going double file after working under our first caution involving Cole Hooper. And the 93 of Tyler White. And we want to welcome MTX Ghosts to the chat here. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast so far. Just in the early goings of this championship round, Dylan Canova has led the entire way for these first few laps. The top three did stay out, actually top two, as Dalton Williamson did take it down the pit lane there to get fresh Goodyear Eagles on that race car. So it'll be the 39 of Dylan Canova, the 48 up on top. Thank you, Master Kiko, for the follow. Thanks for tuning in. And we are back underway. Green flag in the air. Dylan Canova with a great jump over Evan Longacre, but Evan hanging on to that second spot. He's got championship contender Dakota Jorgensen right there behind him now. And on fresher tires, we'll see what Dakota can do here. And if Evan can hang on to this spot. And a lot on the line tonight. These guys going for a championship. Here goes Jorgensen down to the inside. He'll drive straight on by the 48 machine. And Evan going to try and reel him back in now, but 5-lap tire advantage on the 9 machine. As we are back underway here, Chris James back in the 8th position, Chad Guennigsman in 10th, so all 4 championship playoff drivers in the same, or in the top 10. So as we've got Cody Jordan, Jeremy Ogle battling it out side by side now. Cody Jordan to the outside of Chris James. Chris trying to complete the pass on Cody, but unable to do so at the moment. Now dives it down there in 1 and 2. And we've got They Call Me Huffy in the chat cheering for Brandon Machieski. And Brandon right now, he actually started from the pits back here in the 91 machine. Didn't qualify, started from the pits, and he is a lap down at the moment, but probably just hoping to stay out of trouble and get back on that lead lap late in the going here. Out in front, Dylan Canova leading Dakota Jorgensen. MTX Ghosts, I can answer some questions if you've got questions about the league here. These guys are in their final race of the season as the 8 of Jeffrey Meyer washing up into the 42 of Cole Williams, but they're able to stay off of each other. Oh, the 11 machine going around. That is Jeremy Ogle down through the grass here. Green flag stays out, no caution. He got very loose out of turn 4 and bounced it off the inside wall. Pretty hard contact with the left front. And Ogle going to last place on the lead lap as Hilton Young drives around the outside. But at the front, your leader, Dylan Canova, has gotten away by almost a second, even on the older tires. Evan Longacre hanging on to 3rd as well, but Jeffrey Meyer challenging now down low. He'll dive it in there in 1 and 2. Here comes Cole Williams right along with him. as they take it down the backstretch now. Evan Longacre going from 3rd now to the 5th position. Chris James is going to start to reel him in as well, so maybe should have pitted there with the rest of the field, but hard to make that call when you're only the 2nd car on track. And I would have expected more drivers to stay out with so few tires, or so few laps on the tires. And MTX Ghost, this is a private league, but it is B-Class Xfinity cars racing out here. They also run the Cup cars on Saturday nights, and I believe they have a truck series that runs earlier in the week as well. We'll be bringing you the Cup car action tomorrow as these guys battling out big time for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Dakota Jorgensen starting to lose some ground. It's Jeffrey Meyer now. His teammate dives to the inside. They almost make contact. And the 9 checks up just a bit to stay off the passenger side door of Jeffrey Meyer. And the 42 of Cole Williams going to follow him through here. So Jorgensen dropping back to 4th, Longacre 5th, Chris James in 6th. And they are fighting it out now for that spot. So 2 chase drivers battling for position here in the early running of this race. And Carson Bowers out here, the number 66 machine. We haven't seen him run in quite a while. Started back in 24th here tonight, up to the 12th spot. And Carson, somebody I expect to see move forward throughout tonight's race. Meanwhile, a little farther back, Cole Hooper, who was caught up in that first caution. He's still running out here with quite a bit of damage in the 15th position as he gets very sideways going on to the front straightaway, down through the grass. Cole really struggling here with that damage now. Probably not a lot of downforce as he drives it way off into the corner there. And Jeremy Ogle starts to close back in on his bumper. But that's how the field is separated here right now. Dylan Canova out in front by 1 second. Jeffrey Meyer back here in the 2nd place as we have a driver coming off pit lane. That is Cole Early, who is 3 laps down. Not sure what happened there. And Cole Williams still out in front of Dakota Jorgensen, back behind your 2 leaders. Jorgensen trying to stay right here and also in front of his 2, or the other 3 chase contenders behind him. Chris James, Evan Longacre, and Chad Guennigsman now falling to the 11th spot. He started in 8th, but he's gone the wrong way. And what we've seen from Chad this season and what I've seen from him just in general, he definitely saves his stuff for the first half of the race. And then he'll sneak up on you in the last half. He'll gain a lot of spots in the last 10 laps. And we have a caution on the speedway. Wreck on the backstretch, it looks like. Possibly Cole Hooper. Let's go take a look at what happened here. Cole Hooper bringing out a caution. He's racing with the 11. Jeremy Ogle swings way up next to him after he gets a loose, down into the wall. 11 gives him a touch. And Cole goes for a spin cycle there. That car really beat up already. He's last driver on the lead lap. And that is what brought out caution number 2, Cole Hooper. He's been involved in both of them here tonight. And not a good start to this race. After starting in 15th, he's only back in 18th, but the car going to be in trouble here as Dylan Canova stays out on the racetrack. And he will be the only driver to do so with 20 laps on the tires. Very interesting strategy. And we might get a word in with Mr. Maciejewski here. And he's got to complete his pit stop in just a moment, but we'll see if we can get a word in with him before that. Brandon Maciejewski, this is Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
I do. What's up?
Well, Brandon, just wanted to ask you a couple questions here, see how your car is doing, how you're feeling about tonight's race. I saw you started from the pits, and you're making that up now, but how's the car feel for you?
It's not too bad. The car's running pretty good. I got to put a few hundred laps on it in practice, and so I'm kind of in tune with the car. Just trying to keep it off the wall, get tight a little bit here and there, but hopefully we can open it up a little bit and be competitive at the end of the race.
Yes, sir, indeed. You've been pretty fast here the last few weeks, and you know, it looks like the car is pretty good right now. You were making your way forward, slicing and dicing in that McDonald's machine, but any little tips or tricks you found out here this weekend with the track the way it is and these B cars? Any specific way you're trying to get around here?
It's 100% just what line you're running in 1 and 2 and in 3 and 4. The turns being so different, they seem like they're the same, but they're not. So just finding the right line. The practice laps definitely helped it out.
Yeah, 10-4 on that. Practice makes perfect. Well, looks like you're in your pit box now getting some service done, so we'll let you go. But thanks for talking with us, and good luck with the rest of the race.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
All right, that was Mr. Brandon Maciejewski, and so glad somebody told me how to say the last name because I was butchering it completely. And looks like Dylan Canova did come down and take service, so he's going to go to the tail end of the field here into 18th position. So interesting move. And I'm not exactly sure why he did that, but he is in the 18th spot. The only driver behind him on the lead lap is Brandon Maciejewski, and Cole Hooper right here in front of him. He's still out there after getting almost a minute of damage repaired. Meanwhile, Jeffrey Meyer out in front. He's going to be your new leader. And I believe our stages tonight, let me see if I can find them here, the announcements from race control. Stages tonight, lap 25, lap 50, and then we go to the end of the race from there. So we'll have to see what the call is, you know, for the end of the stage here. The points obviously don't matter for the 4 championship contenders, but for everybody else, the points do still count for something, I believe. And we didn't look at our weather before the race started, but a little bit hot out here. 95-degree track temp, 82-degree air temp. So not the coolest racetrack that we've seen. It will cool off as the race progresses, and that's going to affect how these cars handle. So we'll have to see what that does and if these guys are able to keep up with the changing racetrack. But Jeffrey Meyer out in front here. And Dakota Jorgensen laying back a little bit next to his teammate there, Chris James. Both of them fighting for the championship. Jeffrey Meyer gets him going here. Cole Williams on the outside, able to get a decent start, and we'll see if he drops down in line. He will drop in front of Chris James and hold him up a little bit down through the corner. But Chris James moving to third. Going to be in front of his teammate there, Dakota Jorgensen. And 3 wide behind them, Evan Longacre up on the outside. Grayson Sullivan in the middle as now Cody Jordan gets into the corner. Almost tags the 19. The 2 was up there. And now Dalton Williamson cuts down to the inside. He's going to go around Grayson Sullivan on the inside. And here's Chad Guennigsman still outside the top 10, running in 11th. He's watching all of this unfold in front of him and trying to play it safe, as now they've gone mostly single file except for Chris James, Dakota Jorgensen, who were side by side. And here comes Evan Longacre now on equal tires. We'll see the speed of that 48 car as he qualified second. Now trying to make his way back forward, but across the start finish line, Jeffrey Meyer is going to win the stage. And there is the caution for the stage. Jeffrey Meyer wins the stage, so congratulations there. He will be getting himself some bonus points Cole Williams second in the stage, Chris James third, Dakota Jorgensen fourth, Evan Longacre fifth, Stephen Parks sixth, Cody Jordan seventh, Dalton Williamson eighth, Grayson Sullivan ninth, and Tim Rivers rounding out the top 10 here in stage number 1. But Jeffrey Meyer leading this field. We'll see what these guys do, if they come down pit lane or not. Running only, I believe, 2 green flag laps there. And I think the tires are pretty important. Cole Williams going to come down the pit lane. Looks like almost everybody coming with him. Cody Jordan going to stay on track. Chad Guennigsman now stays on track. Dylan Canova, Jeremy Ogle, Zach Adams, handful of others. Cole Early, Zach Adams, Tyler White all out here. They are all off the lead lap. So mixed strategies here. We have 2 playoff drivers that stay out, 2 that go in. Jeffrey Meyer staying on the racetrack with Cody Jordan and Chad Guennigsman. And Tyler White going to get the lucky dog there. He'll get back up on the lead lap, leaving only Cole Early and Zach Adams drivers off the lead lap. We'll see if anybody comes down this time, as we have 5 drivers who stayed out. Cole Williams going to win the battle off pit lane. And it doesn't look like anybody's going to bring it down other than potentially Cole Early. Nope, he does not bring it down. Zach Adams stays out as well. We want to give a big shout out to Shorba's Racing Graphics. You can check them out on Facebook. We'll put the link in the chat here so you can check them out. If you're looking for your own custom paint schemes, check out Shorba's Racing Graphics. They can create basically any scheme you'd like at an affordable price. Some great work done by those guys. And a lot of the cars on the racetrack have Shorba's Racing Graphics paint schemes. And that is why we've got such a great looking field here in this series. So check them out. Give them your support, as they have supported the IRacing Fantasy National Series here throughout this season, providing paint schemes to drivers as well as setting up some of these races and things like that. And if you are interested in advertising here on V-Speed, we offer affordable advertising packages. You can email us at vspeedsim@gmail.com. If you've got a sim racing related product or a company or service you'd like to advertise, we broadcast multiple times throughout the week here on Twitch to audiences, sometimes over 30 or 40 people viewing at a time, and sometimes we get hundreds of people tuning in at any point throughout the stream. So a great opportunity to affordably broadcast or advertise your product. You can find us at vspeedsim.com. Hit the contact tab, and we have a form you can fill out and give us a bit of your information that way, and we can try and set something up for you here. We just brought on a sponsor. It is Below the Double Yellow. It's a podcast for racing fans by racing fans. And excited to have them on. They're going to be starting up their podcast next year. And we'll have more information about them in the following seasons here on V-Speed. As the field working their way out of turn 2, back double file. And Cody Jordan and Jeffrey Meyer on old tires along with the rest of the top 5 are going to be out in front of the drivers on fresh Goodyear Eagles. Jeffrey Meyer going to lead them to the green. He'll have control of this restart. We'll see if they spin the tires at all. That veteran outreach center, number 8 machine. And that mixed paint scheme looks really, really cool. And back underway, green flag in the air. Jeffrey Meyer gets him going. And these drivers already getting at it. Dylan Canova side by side with Chad Guennigsman. And Guennigsman now scored your top playoff driver. He's looking for a championship tonight. And after riding mid-pack here, finds himself in the top 3. Going down into turns 3 and 4. He goes way up the racetrack into the wall. I'm not sure what happened to the 16, but the car did not have the grip I think he expected. And goes sailing into the barrier. Let's see if we can get another view of what happened there. Yeah, the car just drifts way up the racetrack. He only scuffed it, so not too bad. And he didn't hit it a second time, so that's good. But he gets sent back to 5th position now. Chris James working on the back bumper, and he is the first driver on fresh tires. Evan Longacre right there behind him, along with Dakota Jorgensen. So the 4 playoff contenders all fighting it out here side by side. Evan Longacre started in 2nd. He's in 9th right now, trying to chase them back down, but dangerous here in the mid-pack. You can see this spread out in front of him. You never know what's going to happen if somebody's going to lose control. You see the 42 machine get a little bobble going there out of turn number 4 as he goes side by side with Chad Guennigsman, and Chad's starting to fade here on those older tires. Evan Longacre going to the inside now. Great run out of turn number 2, and he's going to try and get down underneath Cole Williams as well. Headed down into turn 3. The 42 shuts the door, and Evan rolling in on that low line. He's able to get the momentum going. It looks like he'll probably clear. Guennigsman coming out of the corner, not quite, as the 16 gets a bit of a run down the front straightaway. But now the 48 able to clear. Meanwhile, at the front, Jeffrey Meyer has pulled away 1 second over Dylan Canova. But Dylan starting to chase him down now. And we saw Jeffrey run a pretty solid race at ISM last week. Was up in the top 5, top 10 the entire race. Dylan Canova now cutting about 2/10 off the lead. Actually scratched that, cut about a 0.5 off that last lap, but is closing. Cody Jordan back here in 3rd. He leads leads a couple playoff contenders. Chris James right here behind him. Dakota Jorgensen trailing him. And it's crazy back here. The 2 machine of Dalton Williamson was looking 3 wide. He goes to the inside of Stephen Parks. Gonna send it down low. Chad Guennigsman in the 9th spot there. About to lose another position and starting to drop back to where he was running before he elected to stay out during the last caution. And he will lose that spot. Dalton Williamson moving forward as Evan Longacre fighting with the 11 of Jeremy Ogle. He will steal the 7th spot away. Set his sights on the 42 of Cole Williams. This is what Evan's seeing from inside his race car. Ooh, and almost some contact up there, it looked like, between Cody Jordan and Chris James. And Dakota Jorgensen fighting it out right now. Really tight racing between himself and Cody Jordan. And the 35 up high, hanging on to 4th position, but the 9 down low. Looks like he's going to take it away here in turns 1 and 2, and here comes Cole Williams right behind him. So move the number 9 to the 4th position, right behind his teammate. And Dylan Canova continues to stalk Jeffrey Meyer, closing in little by little. Canova leading the first 20 laps of the race before he took it to the back of the pack pretty much. And has since stayed out under the last couple cautions, so. Interesting strategy from Dylan here in the opening laps, but those two have clearly broken away. Then the other Junior Motorsports machines back here in third and fourth. All three Junior Motorsports machines in the top four. And doing an excellent job so far, as Evan Longacre losing a spot to someone. Or actually, no, he's staying in the 8th position. But closing in on Dalton Williamson and Cody Jordan, who go side by side now. Right there in front of him. That's going to slow them both up, and he's going to close right in here down the front straightaway. Huge run for that 48 rapid-fired pizza machine as Dalton Williamson working down low. Looks like he's going to be able to complete the pass. Here goes Evan to the inside. A nice move out of turn number 2 as he's pulling a draft off the 2 car. Trying to complete the pass, going down into turn number 3. He not able to clear the 35 just yet, but looks like maybe out of turn 4. He gets a good run. The 35 kind of had to slow up there to avoid the outside wall, and Evan Longacre to the 7th spot. Right now, Dakota Jorgensen under pressure from Cole Williams. The 42 looking to get up there and challenge these guys for a victory tonight. I believe Cole has a win on the season here at some point in the last few weeks, if I recall correctly. So definitely been a quick driver out here. And he's putting pressure on that 9 car, getting right down next to the apron there. Really cutting the exit of the corner, but not able to close the gap. So he loses a bit of speed down the back straightaway. The 9 car able to keep that 1.5 car length gap, but you see how much faster Cole is on turn entry. He gets right up to the back bumper out of turn number 4. Meanwhile, at the front, Jeffrey Meyer sees a number 39 machine of Dylan Canova closing in his mirror here. Jeffrey a bit loose out of turn number 2. With those two fighting it out for the top spot. Canova a little bit sideways there out of turn 4. He has closed the gap now down to 1 car length down into turn number 1. Canova is there, and he sends it up on the high lane. Now cuts it down to the inside, and we'll see what kind of a run he gets. Great run out of turn 2, right to the back bumper, now to the inside. And this is the challenge for the lead. No playoff implications between these two drivers, but the 39 down low, he's really cutting that. Turns 3 and 4, great run out of the corner, and he'll get back to the top spot at the line, but will he be able to complete the pass now with the 8 car up on the high line? Good speed through the center of the corner. He'll get out in front, but gets very loose on exit, not able to slide up in front of the 8 car. And they will go side by side once again into turn number 3, and the 8 with the advantage now up on the high line. But Canova, great speed in the middle of the corner again. That's where his strong suit is here. And Meyer will lead the lap, but Canova still alongside. This is 2 laps in a row now. Now the 8 really sending it into the corner. Canova trying to work something down there, but so slippery on that low side. As you can see the back end bobble there. And he is counter steering like mad to try and hang on to that thing, and side by side for the lead again and again. And it's probably going to take a mistake from one of these guys or potentially switching lanes. I think Canova with the faster race car, just in the less ideal line, and we are approaching halfway here. Great racing on the track. Chris James back here in third. He is fighting with his teammate Dakota Jorgensen, who, although he is winless on the season, is looking for a championship. Oh, we've got contact at the front. Jeffrey Meyer goes around. Dylan Canova involved as well. They were battling it out so hard, and as soon as we looked away, they wreck. Let's go take a look at what happened between those two. Jeffrey Meyer was up on that high line. Dylan Canova down low. I have a sneaking suspicion the 39, yep, just gets loose. He washes up, trying to hang on to it. A little bit of contact, and they get sent around. Heavy contact by both drivers as Meyer slams the inside wall with the passenger side front and the right rear. Let's see if we get another view of this from the overhead cam. And 39 definitely wiggles up the track, trying to save it. And a little hook there from the 8 sends him around. And they both get collected. So your two fastest drivers at the tail end of the field with heavy damage, as Chris James inherits the lead and will lead his first lap of the race. But a huge shakeup now. And your current leader, Chris James. We'll see if we can get a word in with some of these drivers here throughout the race. Probably talk with Chris James here, actually, after he gets out of his pit stall. As he rolls now off the pit lane, he's going to win the battle off. We'll wait till he makes it off the access road here. Tricky section of the racetrack, so don't want him to get any kind of a black flag from us distracting him as we just cross halfway. Cheer on your favorite driver in chat if you haven't already. And who do you think is going to win this race? Who's going to win the championship? Let's talk to one of our contenders now. Chris James, Adam in the V-Seed booth. You got a copy?
I got you, Adam.
Well, Chris, you didn't have the best qualifying run and you didn't show a ton of speed in the practice session, but the car obviously very quick as you've moved up to the front of the field here. But how's everything going for you out there? And you got the pressure of the playoffs on your shoulders. How's everything going?
Well as can be at the moment. Kind of hope that continues. Yeah, we didn't have, weren't happy at all with what we did in qualifying. But I think our car is more geared toward the long run, as well as my teammate Dakota behind me. So I think we're sitting pretty good. Now I think I'm going to be battling junior motorsports the rest of the way, barring anything else silly happening.
Yeah, you guys definitely been the class at the field with Jeffrey Meyer, who was out there, your teammate, but unfortunately getting caught up in that incident. So obviously fast race cars, and you know, how much information did you share with Dakota coming into tonight's race?
To be completely honest, both Dakota and I kind of work separately, so we are on our own stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. It looks like you guys are almost on the same thing, the way the cars are handling, but obviously both very quick, and you guys have both been fast throughout the season. You come in here, and I think the goal is basically to win, right? Like, is that your intention?
Oh, that's the goal. Me and Dakota are already going back and forth in the radio, talking about who's going to turn who for the championship.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't come down to that, and you guys put on a nice, clean show for us. But you come into this race, you have the most wins of any of the guys left in the hunt. You know, so how much confidence does that give you that you know you can get it done when it counts?
Absolutely none. I'm scared crapless right now. All right, I'm just trying to hang on. All that's out the window. Now we're down to this final race, and we'll just you know, see how it goes. The nerves kind of got to me tonight. I didn't think they would, but it's pretty intense.
Yeah, it always builds up at the last moment, but you're facing them head on. Your car looks great, doing a great job out there. So good luck with the rest of the race, and hopefully we talk to you at the end.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Adam.
All right, that is Chris James saying the nerves got to him a little bit. I'm a little surprised by that because of his performance so far this season. He has been dominant in many races, not always able to close it out, but he does have 3 wins here this season. So been a contender week in and week out, and once again a contender here. And just past halfway, he has a lead. His teammate Dakota Jorgensen, who's battling for the same championship he is. Right there, Evan Longacre in the 4th spot, that number 48 machine right here behind them. So he's looking for a good restart and a good run here. But they get going, green flag in the air. Not a great jump by Chris James as they get a very even breakaway between the front 2. Evan Longacre gets a good jump from the 4th position. He's going to try and clear Cole Williams down through the corner. And Cole is his teammate here, so going to give him a little bit of leeway, I think, as Evan, the only one in the running for the championship. But now the top 3 on the racetrack are playoff contenders. Chad Guennigsman has risen to the occasion now, up to the 6th spot. But battling it out with Grayson Sullivan, a little bit loose out of the corner there. Sullivan goes way down the racetrack and caution on the speedway. That is the 01 machine of Tim Rivers, who spins it around here in 3 and 4. Yes, sir, Jagstang. Great racing so far. Let's see what brought out our last caution here. And we are looking on with Tim Rivers, the 01, as they were 3 wide, 4 wide almost. The 01 checking up a little bit. The 22 gets the wall. He gets the wall. And connection problems or some kind of computer problem sent him around in front of Brandon Machieski, who takes it to the pit lane. He is 1 lap down and now no front end on the race car. So fan favorite here, probably out of contention to win this one. With that car not being nearly as aerodynamic as it was before. Meanwhile, looks like majority of the drivers staying on the racetrack here under this caution. So to recap, we've had 5 cautions. We did pass the halfway point at lap 50. We missed the top 10 in that stage, but we are through the first 2 stages and now into the final stage. Let's see if I can get a word from race control on how they finished up stage 2. Looks like they have not made an announcement, so unsure on how that ended up. But we are working under caution number 5 here so far, and we had a couple nice green flag runs. We've knocked it out pretty quickly, just an hour into the session, or into the broadcast, rather. And that includes about 5 or 6 minutes of practice, plus our qualifying, so probably about 45 minutes of racing action that's happened here. But we're going to cut quickly to a side-by-side under caution here, and we'll be right back with the green flag. And back to the track now. They're double file, waiting to get the green flag. If you're just joining us, this is the iRacing Fantasy National Series season finale. This is the championship round from Homestead Miami. The 4 drivers contending for the championship: Chris James, Evan Longacre, Chad Guennigsman, and Dakota Jorgensen. They all find themselves inside the top 5 here, just about 60 laps into the event. So going to be a very competitive second half of the race, it's looking like, as they are all in the top 5 and all have shown speed throughout the early going here. But Chris James, Dakota Jorgensen on the front row for this restart. Number 1 machine gets him going. A much better restart this time as he gets away from his teammate by a couple of car lengths. Now gets up into that high lane. And now we'll cut it back down to the middle of the racetrack here. Evan Longacre trying to clear his teammate Cole Williams. And Chad Guennigsman, not a great restart. He lost a position on that one, but still hanging out in the 6th spot. Still definitely in contention, as Evan Longacre here riding in front of his teammate Cole Williams. And we'll see what Cole does here if he puts a lot of pressure on the 48. Actually, those Chip Ganassi racing machines have been pretty good here the last few weeks. They've Evan Longacre winning at Texas, and then last week I believe it was Cole Williams. So those guys have been just on fire here. And once again set up the cars incredibly well. The junior motorsports machines have kind of been the class of the field, but Evan right up there in terms of speed throughout the entire race. And now he's putting pressure on the back bumper of Dakota Jorgensen as Chris James starting to gap the number 9 machine. And Evan pretty good there in the center of 3 and 4, like we saw from Dylan Canova. But the question is, how will the cars fare on the long run? The 2 junior motorsports machines at the front have been very good on the long run. And we haven't seen enough from Evan to know whether or not he's able to track people down and outrun them. And probably going to be at least one more pit stop, as Evan, a huge run out of turn number 4. He closes in now half a car length, looks to the outside of Jorgensen, who leaves the door open. And the 48 now alongside the quarter panel, not able to get the run on turn entry, but you see him get back to the throttle just a little bit sooner. And he's going to get there, get to the back bumper. Oh, and maybe a little contact as he swings it way down to the apron. Close call for those 2 contenders, as here comes Grayson Sullivan now, peeking to the outside of Longacre. And he'll cut it down to the inside now, a little bit of a crossover out of turn 4. And he'll get alongside the 48. But Evan able to clear him on turn entry. The 19, very good in the center of the corner. That K&N Camaro now looks to the inside of the Rapid Fire Pizza machine, but still unable to get the momentum. Here comes Cole Williams back to the bumper. And the 19 a little bit, you can see a little bit squirrely there on turn entry. As back here, Carson Bowers continues to move forward, up from 24th to 7th now, and he battles side by side with Dalton Williamson, the 2 machine who has also moved forward from 18th now to 6th. And they have both found their way around Chad Guennigsman. As Evan Longacre looks to the inside of Dakota Jorgensen. And these guys got to be careful. They are racing for a championship. But now getting into the last third of the race. Longacre unable to complete the pass. Here comes Sullivan now to the inside. And Chris James continues to pull away, now about a half second out in front of his teammate Dakota Jorgensen. And I think Evan Longacre a little bit sick of running behind the 9. I think he has the speed to get by. and might even have the speed to go up there and contend with your leader. But the question is finding a way around, as they are all very quick and very close in speed. That time by, though, Dalton Williamson was the fastest car on the track. Second fastest was Chris James. And then Dakota Jorgensen third fastest. So Carson Bowers battling it out again with Chad Guennigsman, and Guennigsman trying to take that position back as Bowers drifts up the racetrack, unable to clear the 16, and he will lose the spot. And here comes Jeffrey Meyer, that 8 car, who has quite a bit of damage. He's making his way back forward into the 9th position. Started in 4th. He's led 27 laps and won stage number 1. And trying to find his way around Carson Bowers. Let's look up here, the 19 of Grayson Sullivan battling it out with Dalton Williamson. And Williamson definitely the fastest car on track right now. Just running quite a bit faster, but almost contact between those guys. Such close quarters going into turn number 1. The two a little bit sideways coming out of the corner. And that'll allow Sullivan to get back on the inside, and they are racing it out hard here. Not a lot of room being given. Contact there, the 19 drifts up into the 2. He's gonna shove him up the racetrack, but the 19 a little bit loose out of the corner. And that's gonna allow the 2 to drive back to the outside here. Intense racing from these guys as Evan Longacre once again looking to the inside of Dakota Jorgensen, and this time still not able to get the run. He will drop back in line and set himself up for another shot here. Dalton Williamson completes the pass on Grayson Sullivan. And we'll see what Dalton can do to march forward. He has just absolutely been flying around this racetrack. Even making that pass there, he's one of the fastest on the speedway. And it would not surprise me to see him get up there and challenge your top 4. And let's see if we can ride along here, see what's going on with the number 2 machine. Seems like he's got plenty of grip. The back end not wiggling out from underneath. And that time by was the fastest on the racetrack. Jeffrey Meyer also incredibly fast, even with his damage. He is closed in on the back bumper of Chad Guennigsman now, and big run down the back straightaway. Looks like he might be able to make a pass here in the next couple laps, but Chris James out in front by 3/4 of a second now over his teammate Dakota Jorgensen. Not sure what just happened there, though. I think the timing is off. Wait for that to reset. Maybe an issue for Chris James. Maybe he knows something we don't. He has dropped back into the clutches of his teammate now, just a half second. Now, a 1/3 of a second. And maybe he's saving fuel. This could be a fuel mileage race. We will have to see. It looks like he is definitely slower. He's 2/10 slower than everybody else. So something going on here with the number 1 car. Not sure if he's got overheating issues. Really laying off the throttle. He is not clutching or anything, though. Evan Longacre getting a little bit of help from his teammate Cole Williams to push him right back up into contention. But they have the benefit of the draft. The 1 machine, no draft at all. Here comes Longacre to the inside of Jorgensen, but not going to have the run. He's right on the back bumper. Through 3 and 4 now. The 9 with a little bit of an advantage as Evan Laying off here, a couple car lengths. The 9 a bit loose, though. He's able to hang on to it. But this could be a very intense battle for the championship here. As Chris James riding it out. I don't know if he was trying to save a little bit, if he had been pushing too hard, or if he's trying to save some fuel. But wasn't clutching. And now he's running the high line around here. But here comes Jorgensen now. The gap just about 1 car length between those two. And the top 3 playoff contenders nose to tail with a little over 20 laps to go. And here goes Jorgensen to the inside, unable to get the run. But that 1 car has fallen off a cliff. Here comes Evan Longacre, the rapid-fired pizza machine, to the inside of Jorgensen. A great run into turn 3. Can he complete the pass? Doesn't look like it. As the 9 machine right up by the wall, he's going to get a huge burst of speed down the front straightaway. Incredible racing action at the front of the pack here, as the top 5 all separated by less than half a second. And Chris James out in front. He's hanging on to the top spot, but just barely, as everyone has reeled him back in. Fastest car on the racetrack is Jeffrey Meyer in 6th, who's gotten around Chad Guennigsman in 7th, and Grayson Sullivan has dropped back to the 8th spot. So Guennigsman's going to try and follow the 8 machine around and get back up in contention for a win here, but currently too far back, 2.3 seconds. As I think there might be a good opportunity for Evan Longacre. The 9 had to check up behind his teammate. Longacre now to the back bumper, does not make a move. Just over 20 laps to go. Here goes Dakota Jorgensen to the inside. He gets loose, though. Evan Longacre up on the high line. The 9 still trying to gather the car back up. Evan Longacre is going to take over 2nd place. The 48 car able to clear on the outside, and now Cole Williams doing battle with the 9 car. He's trying to stay there and give the number 9 machine some dirty air and put some pressure on his outside. And Jorgensen dropping back now as he bombs it into the corner, almost contact with the 42. And very tight racing. Jorgensen is going the wrong way now. Maybe the tires are cooked on that, but Evan Longacre taking over 2nd. We'll see if he can reel in Chris James out in front, and it may very well come down to fuel mileage in this one. They've been out there for 30 laps and still have about 20 to go. I don't know if they can go 50 laps around here. That would be, it would only be 75 miles. I think they could probably do that. But I'm not sure what the fuel load is in these cars tonight. Right now, Chris James, your leader, fighting it out with these guys. Jeffrey Meyer and Chad Guennigsman are closing in. This is where Chad is, and maybe he saved something, because he is one of the fastest cars on the racetrack and reeling in the top 5. Just following the number 8 car around the speedway. As he gets a little bit loose there, trying to keep the car underneath him. Down the front straightaway here. He lost a little bit of time out of turn 4, but sees those guys fighting for it up there and knows that he has got to be there when it counts, as Chris James under fire from the rapid-fired pizza car. Evan Longacre didn't win a race until Texas 2 weeks ago. He's looking for another one here, and this one would be for the championship, as Dakota Jorgensen still battling it out with Dalton Williamson. And Longacre with his teammate. Those 2 cars are very quick here on the long run. The 48 moves to the inside now. Chris James gives him the lane. But Longacre a little bit loose out of the corner, unable to carry the speed he needs. Still right around there. Cole Williams behind him. Now going to look to the outside. That's not going to help his teammate. But the 48 able to clear him. And down the front straightaway, 16 laps to go. And Juniors Racing looks like 50 laps in the Cup car, so that should be more than enough then around this place in the B car here. That being said, I don't know if they're on the throttle longer. The Cup cars, I'm pretty sure, are almost full throttle. So here goes Longacre to the inside. A great run out of turn number 4. He's going to get alongside your leader down the front straightaway at the line. It's Chris James, but Longacre with 15 to go is starting to make his move. And going to dive into the corner here. He gets a great run in 1 and 2. Able to clear Chris James, but the one going to pull a crossover or not. He gets to the inside now, back down the back straightaway. Evan Longacre with the advantage, headed into the corner. 48 in the outside line here. Is he going to be able to carry the speed? Looks like he's a little sideways out of the corner, able to hang on to it, and he'll take over the top spot. Evan Longacre to the lead. Chris James fading back to second, and Cole Williams putting a challenge there for that second spot. And Evan Longacre, the rapid-fired pizza machine, out in front. First lap led all night after starting on the front row. He has found his way to the top. Chris James fights it out with Cole Williams. And the bottom is definitely a hard place to work around here as he jumps up in front of Dalton Williamson. A close call. There's just barely enough room. And I'm not sure if Dalton is actually on their team or not. I do not see him on that team. So in a Camaro, I don't know what team the 2 car is. Oh, it looks like Kevin Harvick Incorporated. So he is not a Junior Motorsports machine. And going to give some space, though, to those playoff drivers as he sits in the 4th spot. Chris James trying to mount another charge here, knowing that time is running out. Evan Longacre has not been able to pull away. And thank you for the confirmation, TJ Spinout. As Chris James really sends it into turn 3 there, way down underneath. Cole Williams still hanging on to second. And that is probably what's going to make the difference here. Evan Longacre in front. But Chris James has to find his way around 2 race cars to win the championship. At this point, Evan Longacre was fastest out of the 4 in practice. He was fastest in qualifying, and now he's leading the race. It'll be 10 to go at the line next time by. Dakota Jorgensen back here in the 5th spot. His teammate Jeffrey Meyer starting to close in. And Chad Guennigsman has gone backwards now, 2.8 seconds off the leaders. He's in the 9th spot. Looking like he's not going to have a shot here without some type of drastic change of circumstances. But at the front, Evan Longacre just 10 laps away from the championship. As Chris James really, once again, sails it into the corner here. The 42 machine of Cole Williams still on the outside. The one not able to complete the pass. And losing a bit of ground by doing that. But you can see he knows something. He was saving something there. And he's really charging these corners now down to the white line out of turn number 2. Just driving that thing out of the corner. Let's go on board with Chris James. See, off throttle, down into the corner. He gets back on the throttle. Trying to guide that thing out of the corner. And Dakota Jorgensen now looks to the inside of Dalton Williamson, unable to complete that pass. As he drifts up a little bit, now cuts down. You can see the cars start to step away. Dalton Williamson with a problem there, but Dakota Jorgensen sideways. Oh, he gets turned! Dalton Williamson turns Dakota Jorgensen. Oh my goodness, what happened there? I saw Williamson spinning on the outside. Jorgensen going to be devastated. The car still fairly clean. I mean, he got right side damage, but let's go see exactly what happened here. Two machine, I saw him get loose there, drifted way up the racetrack, started to lose control, and couldn't hang on to it. He drifted way down, just barely clipped the 9, who bounces it off the outside barrier. Dalton Williamson locked it down, but couldn't avoid the 9, and Jorgensen could not get through there. Those two, the only ones involved. Let's see maybe another view here. He bounced off the wall and then locked it up. Oh man, disaster. But Evan Longacre going to lead the field down the pit lane. Dalton Williamson elects to stay on the racetrack. And we'll have to see what the call is. We'll have to see how the pit crews perform and if these guys miss their boxes or anything like that. Into the boxes though, looks like a nice clean stop for Evan Longacre, and he has the shortest commute out of the pit lane. And I don't think anybody would dare take 2 tires. But Longacre going to try and win the battle off. Looks like he will. He will win the battle off. Cole Williams 2nd, Chris James 3rd, Grayson Sullivan 4th, Jeffrey Meyer in 5th, Jeremy Ogle 6th, Chad Guennigsman 7th, Stephen Parks 8th, and Kevin Roy 9th. Jorgensen comes out in the 10th spot. Able to get a tiny bit of damage fixed, but not enough. That car's still hurt on the right side. And his championship hopes going up in smoke with that spin. I think he's going to be too far back, most likely. Dalton Williamson is going to bring it down the pit lane now. And man, what a turn of events there. But no real shakeup in the positions on track other than Jorgensen going all the way back. Chad Guennigsman is going to be 7th, so he was able to gain a spot out of that. And possibly 2 tires for Grayson Sullivan. He had a 12-second pit stop, which that could just be a glitch in the timing, but definitely is a short pit stop, so we'll have to see if he has any. Took only 2 tires there. But let's hear a quick word from Rapid Fired Pizza before these guys go green and we end this thing here tonight. That was a quick word from Rapid Fired Pizza, sponsor of the series here, and also sponsor of Evan Longacre, who is your leader. He's going to elect to take the outside lane on this restart next to his teammate Cole Williams. He's got Chris James and Grayson Sullivan behind him in that 2nd row. Chris James fighting for the championship, and if you're just joining, we're in the final laps of the final race of the season. The 4 championship contenders. Let's give you a rundown of what's happened here. Chris James was leading a lot here. He lost the lead to Evan Longacre, who leads it now. Chad Guennigsman has kind of been in the lower half of the top 10, and Dakota Jorgensen just caught up in a wreck while running in the 3rd position. And he is currently scored back in 10th right now. But we're going to have 3 to go when we get the green flag here. Evan Longacre just has to hang on for 3 laps. Chris James very quick on the short runs here, but the 48 with the advantage, being the leader on this restart. And I am sitting on the edge of my seat. Chris James, of course, trying to shove the 42 up there to get him alongside and trying to time the restart. He gets going. The 42, not a great jump, but Chris James can't go anywhere. He's pinned in behind the 42, and he has nowhere to go. Now into the third spot as Grayson Sullivan drifts up the track. I think he took 2 tires, the 19 just dropping like a rock, but Evan Longacre out in front now, a quarter of a second. Chris James charging as hard as he can into turn 3. Losing a bit of ground there on entry though, as here comes his teammate Jeffrey Meyer, the one machine dropping backwards, 3/4 of a second behind Longacre and going the wrong direction. The car obviously not set up for the short run here, and that's what it's come down to. Evan Longacre down the back straightaway is going to have one more lap after this. And he is in front, looking for his second win of the season. It would be his second in the last 3 races. He didn't win until Texas. Now the white flag lap, the championship finale here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Evan Longacre through turns 1 and 2. His teammate Cole Williams back here 3/10 of a second behind him. Chris James, the nearest playoff contender, battling it out with Chad Guennigsman here in 4th, but it's not going to be enough. Evan Longacre through turns 3 and 4, exiting the corner here. He's going to come down across the start-finish line and win the race and the championship. Evan Longacre started second and didn't take the lead until 14 to go, and he led the rest of the way. Evan Longacre. Clutch moment at Texas is what got him here. Getting a congratulations from Jeremy Ogle, the number 11 machine. And this full season, Evan, of course, the Rapid Fired Pizza driver here, going to win the championship in the National Series, sponsored by Rapid Fired Pizza as he does his victory lap here. Getting congratulations from all these drivers, the 2 of Dalton Williamson, the 22 machine of Cole Early. All congratulating the champion here. And I am so excited to interview Evan here and see what his thoughts are on the race tonight. And I just want to see how excited he is. I know 2 weeks ago meant a lot to get that victory. He gets turned by the 66, Carson Bowers here. And gonna take it down the access road here. Probably bring it back around to do his burnout. And now gonna get congratulatory bump from Jeffrey Meyer to send him off here to celebrate his victory and his championship. Starts the burnout there. He hasn't had a chance to do too many of these, but locks him down and gets some smoke in here. Great burnout. Evan Longacre. Clutch once again. He closed it out here, just 14 laps led. They were the last 14 laps of the race, of the season. He comes out on top with his second victory of the year. Let's talk to him. Let's bring him up here into the booth and congratulate him on his championship. See if we can find him here. Evan Longacre, this is Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
You got me?
Yes, sir. Evan, you did it. You chased him down and you drove away. How did you do it here tonight?
I mean, we put in so many hours this week building a car that had short run speed and that had long run speed. You know, I knew the track was going to get slick. I knew it. So we had to build a car that didn't want to step out, but, you know, didn't want to push on the long run and I had to prepare for a situation like this, so I had to have a car that could get up and go. And somehow we freaking nailed it. I mean, I had a car that could do whatever I wanted it to do. I mean, this is the best car I've had all season, and it's because we put in so much work and just tried anything and everything. So that's off to, Cole Williams, I mean, to Dalton Williamson, Jacob Shorba, and Brandon Andrews for working with me and building a heck of a fast race car.
Yeah, it was definitely quick here. You started in the second spot, and then we saw you go backwards a little bit there. I think it was a pit strategy call, and you had to fight through traffic. Just how hard was it to get around people here, even with such a quick race car?
I mean, it was tough just because the nature of the track. One end's a lot tighter than the other. Getting into 1, 2, you want to enter low. 3 and 4, you want to arc it in, and the way you drive up off the corner is completely different on both sides. So, you know, I've raced with these guys all season long, and how they kind of run. So I wasn't really nervous of you know overdriving the car and getting into any of us. None of that happened. But I just wanted to stay behind you know, Chris and Dakota, and keep Chad behind me, and just kind of battle my way up through there and see what we could do.
And battle up there you did, and you won the race. It was a heck of a battle. We saw you get around Dakota, and then you chased down Chris, and put a lot of pressure on him, and just snuck by there out of turn number 4, which it's a tricky one at this racetrack. It's very difficult to navigate because it's so wide and so many different lines, but you had it down here tonight. And your second victory in the last 3 races. You hadn't won until Texas, and now you win 2 out of the 3. So, what does it mean, and just how excited are you for what you did here in these last few races?
I mean, it just up until this season, I hadn't really stock cars a lot. My bread and butter was like IndyCar C fixed. That's what I ran. I ran stock cars occasionally, and I didn't really know much about setting them up. So it was really just learning how to set them up, learn how to drive them on the short long run and the long run. I had a great team owner, great spotter with Jacob. I've had several teammates throughout the season. TJ helped me learn how to set up the cars. I know he's still not feeling well, so I'd like to, pretty much dedicate the championship to him. The fight that we showed here, hopefully, I know he's got the same fight with what he's got going on. So just learning how to set up the cars and, like I said, short run, long run speed. And just kind of getting some of the demons off our back. We had some really fast cars and some really bad luck. And whenever you have some really good luck and really fast cars, good thing.
Yeah, that's for sure. And sometimes, luck is just setting yourself up for success is kind of what I've learned. And you said you worked really hard this week, and obviously that showed up. You were fastest of the 4 playoff drivers in practice, in qualifying, and then when it came down to it, here are the final laps of the race. You were the fastest car, and nobody could touch you. Um, so just an incredible performance from you here tonight. You didn't take the lead until 14 to go, but then you never gave it up. Um, so, I mean, just an incredible season. Anything you want to sum up here for all your efforts this season? Anybody you'd like to thank for the championship here and for tonight's victory as well?
I gotta give a shout out to Chris and Dakota and Chad. I mean, they're all just fantastic drivers. Any one of us that could have won this would have been a great champion for our league, a great representative for the inaugural season here. So hats off to those dudes, and for racing me clean. I mean, I had a heck of a battle with Dakota there for several laps. Never raced each other dirty, never touched each other, and then the same with Chris. Never touched each other, nothing, just good clean racing with everything on the line. So hats off to those dudes. I got to thank Cole Williams, my teammate tonight, and one of my good buddies in real life, for working with me on the setup here and being a good teammate tonight. I think he drove everybody, really clean and just ran his own race. And I got to thank Jacob Shorba. He owned this entire league, and he's been my spotter throughout all this and helped me set up the cars. Thanks to Brandon Andrews for throwing me in the car. Didn't really know him when this whole thing started. Threw me in the car at New Hampshire. I think I ran like crap and finished like 24th or something out of 35, and I was like, we got a long way to go. And then, so thanks to those guys, thanks to Dalton Williamson for working with me some on the setup this week. He's a tremendous asset. To TJ, again, shout out to him. Hope he gets feeling better. Thanks to Rapid Fired Pizza for sponsoring the car and the entire league. Their entire corporate team and everybody with them. It's a great place, and we got some pretty good food. So if you're around Rapid Fired Pizza, make sure you go and check that out. And thanks to the big man upstairs for putting the air in my lungs to give this long-winded thank you speech. And thanks to you two for doing this broadcast and dedicating your Friday and Saturday nights this season to us. I know there's a lot of things you could probably go out and be doing, but you provide top-notch broadcasting week in and week out, and I really appreciate you taking the time, man.
Yeah, and we appreciate you guys putting on great shows each and every week, and yourself, the Rapid Fired Pizza Machine, and all the folks at Rapid Fired Pizza, for putting this on. It's been a pleasure to watch you guys race out here, and to see your improvement throughout the season has just been incredible. You were a contender week in and week out, but just things didn't seem to go your way, or the setup wasn't good enough on the long run. But every week there was improvement, and it's really shown here these last few weeks. You guys figured stuff out, and you yourself have improved significantly as a driver. So it's been a great time watching you guys, and I think you got a lot to look forward to for next season. And for this season, you get the championship. So
Oh yeah, I mean, sadly, we kind of follow some of the real life NASCAR deals, and sadly, Chip Ganassi doesn't race anymore. So this is my last race in the Rapid Fired 48. Next season, you'll see me in the Rapid Fired 10 car for college racing. So sadly, that this is the 48's last run, but I think it peaked at the right time.
yeah, indeed, 2 wins in the last 3 races, and I think you were running pretty well at ISM too, if I recall correctly.
Yep.
But
Chip Ganassi finished out the season 3 for 3. So
yeah, that's massive, right? That's a ton of momentum for you, and knowing that you figure stuff out, setting the cars up, and then just running these races is an art form in and of itself, and you've mastered it now in these final 3 races. So. Once again, just congratulations, massive congratulations to you on the championship, the victory, and just a heck of a season for you here. So, any final thank yous before we let you go celebrate with your crew?
I'm just really, really, really happy. I know, the work that you put into this, it's time, and it's different, I guess, than working on a real car and all that, but the excitement, the adrenaline, and all that. You're still competing, you're still racing, and I guess I'll just sign off with the harder that we've worked, and the friends that I've made doing this. Some of the dudes in this league. I mean, we talk in our Discord, and they're all really, really, really good dudes. Everybody in here is super, super fun. But I guess I'll leave it with this: the harder that we worked, and the better friends that we all became, the better our luck got. So I'll just kind of leave it on that. But again, thank you, Adam, and thanks to everybody that ran with me this season. I absolutely had a blast, and I can't wait to see you guys in February at Daytona.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it as well. So, congratulations on the victory, on the championship, and a heck of an end of the season here for you. So, go celebrate with your crew. I bet they're cheering it up in victory lane, so you better get over there.
Actually, I need to thank one more person. I need to thank my wife, Macy Longacre, for putting up with me this week and the extra time spent on the computer. Just putting up with me this entire season, and maybe playing iRacing a little bit too much. So I got to give a big shout out to her.
Yeah, that's probably a good call. So,
Oh yeah.
well, congratulations, Evan. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us here, and go celebrate.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Adam. I really appreciate you.
All right, thank you so much. Have a great night. That was your winner here, your champion tonight, Evan Longacre. Let's go to second place finisher, his teammate Cole Williams. Cole Williams, this is Adam the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. What's going on?
Oh, not too much here. Just got through with interviewing your teammate, the champion of the series here, but you come home a second place finisher tonight. You won last week, and the Chip Ganassi machines go 3 for 3 in these last 3 races. So give us a rundown of how your race went and, how you think the car was overall for you.
Oh, it went really well. I was kind of liking all the green flag runs. I felt like our cars, both of our cars, me and Evans, were really good on long runs there. And it was just kind of the thing that we was just going to try to sit there and save as much as we could for the longest time, and the race would just slowly come to us. And the longer we went, the more Chris and them would back up to us. And I just kept telling Evan just to hit his marks, and we're going to follow him. We're going to get up there. So I can't thank him, Dalton Williams, Brandon Andrews, and Jacob Shorba. We worked on this setup for forever, mainly them more than me. But yeah, it was overall a really good race. You couldn't have asked for a better overall finish for the Chip Ganassi for the end of the season.
Yeah, 3 wins, and then this is a 1-2 finish. So, yeah, that's about as good as it gets. So, definitely a lot to be proud of for you guys. I know I think you just filled in this car for a few weeks here. So, how much confidence does it give you, going into next season? Do you think you're going to be running in this series or the Cup Series, or what are your plans for next year?
Yeah, so Evan actually came to me with this whole deal, just kind of running part-time for TJ, and appreciate him for letting me sub in for a few races. But yeah, he bought out the charter for Colleague Racing next year, and me and him were going to be teammates along with Dalton Williamson, and then Carson Bowers. So we'll have a little four-car team. I feel like we kind of all worked together towards the end of the season. I feel like we've worked really well, and we've had fast race cars. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. I definitely think that we can compete really good. I've ran 4 races and won 2 of them, finished second and the third, so I can't complain. I feel like we're bringing the results. We got really good guys, and bring on next season.
Yeah, and we're looking forward to it from you guys as well with the performances that you put on here these last few races. Definitely just a ton to be proud of. The work really paying off for you. So you come home second here. It's not the win, but it's about as good as it gets with your teammate winning it all. So anybody you want to give a quick shout out to for second place tonight?
Oh, really? I thank Evan and Brandon Andrews for giving me the opportunity. TJ for letting me sub in for him. Jacob for putting on this whole league. It's been a great league. One of my favorite ones I've ran in. I had a pleasure of racing with everybody this year and kind of getting to know everybody. I felt like the racing was really good just overall, even especially that last long run, a bunch of us were right there with each other. It just shows how competitive this league is. But overall, it was a great season. I can't thank everyone enough, and of course you for putting on this broadcast. It's an awesome broadcast for everyone to come in and tune in and watch. So overall, it's been a good season.
Awesome, Cole. Well, congratulations on the second place finish here tonight. A great run for you once again, and 2 podiums in a row, first and a second. You can't beat that, really. So go celebrate with your teammates there in Victory Lane, and we'll catch up with you, I guess, next season.
Yep, copy that.
All right, second place finisher Cole Williams. We're going to go to third place finisher Jeremy Ogle. Jeremy Ogle, this is Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Sure do, bud. How are you?
Pretty good, and it looks like you're doing pretty well yourself there, finishing third place tonight after starting back in 12th. It looks like you took it away from Chris James and Chad Guennigsman, the playoff contenders at the end. So give us a rundown of your race and how you got it into the top 3 here.
Qualifying, we cannot lay down a qualifying lap to save our life, and we knew he was going to be behind the 8 ball, but 100 laps around Homestead is a long ways. And I don't know, after that second stage, I told one of my teammates, I said, I just don't think I got the car to even be in the top 5. And we got that long green flag run, and I was almost 5 seconds behind them guys, and by the time we got down inside 10 to go, I was under 2 seconds from the leader. So I mean, it was a long green flag run, and it kind of helped us. But congrats to Evan on the championship, Cole on second, and Chris. It's been a great season, that's for sure. I've only got to run the last 3 or 4 races, but looking forward to next year, that's for sure.
Yeah, and you're putting on a heck of a performance here, finishing in third in this one. And like you said, the long green flag runs really shows the true colors of a car's setup. We got, I think it was about a 40-lap run under green there. So what did the car do for you on that run? Did it get looser or tighter, or were you changing lines, trying to figure it out?
I was there early on. I could go in and hold the bottom, and it looked like that's just about where everybody was at when they was getting underneath them before we went into the next corner. And then they're late. It started, getting loose on me, tail happy on me a little bit, and moved up the racetrack a little bit. And the car was fast up top. I just early on, you just really could not get the momentum rolling the way it needed to be to compete with these guys that were running the bottom. So you had no choice but to run down there. There after that first stage, I stayed up top, and I probably lost 10 spots in 15 laps. So it was there. I'm overall happy with it. I just joined these guys a few months ago, and Jacob and them do a great job of putting on this deal, and I got lucky and jumped in the 11 car the rest of the year, and now we're going to look for a ride for next year, full-time ride, and go chase us the championship.
Yeah, 10-4, a solid performance to close out the season for sure, and definitely going to give you a better shot at finding a full-time ride there next year. So a great third-place run here at Homestead Miami. You started 12th. Anybody you want to give a shout-out to that made tonight's finish possible?
Most of it, man, goes to a buddy of mine that races with us, Tim Rivers. He helps me a ton on setups, and I couldn't be nowhere near as competitive as what I am without his help. And again, Jacob and them for putting on a great league, and then you for broadcasting, and just everybody that puts this deal on. It takes a lot to run a competitive league, and we was just talking about it earlier. Anytime you roll into this league, whether it be the Trucks, Cup, National Series, whatever, there's 15 guys on average that can come in here and win races, or even go elsewhere and win races. So the competition here is just awesome, and if you can run up front with these guys, and you're doing something. So to come out here with a third, like you said, that's momentum going into next year. We'll see everybody at Daytona.
Awesome, Jeremy. Well, congratulations on a podium finish here to close it all out, and go celebrate. Maybe even run down there, congratulate those guys at Victory Lane, but we'll see you next year at Daytona.
All right, bud. Appreciate it, Adam. You guys have a great holiday season.
Thank you. You too. That was Jeremy Ogle, your third place finisher, and we are going to talk to some of our playoff contenders here. Let's see if we can pull up Mr. Chad Guennigsman, who was the next highest playoff driver. Chad Guennigsman, this is Adam, the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
I got you, Adam.
Well, Chad, it looked like you didn't have the car for most of the night, but you got within striking distance there at the end. You come home with the fourth place finish, second in the championship. But kind of give us a rundown of what the car was doing and what you were focusing on there in the last few laps of this race.
Yeah, really, I think the first 2 stages, my goal was just to keep the car clean. I'd set my car up to be pretty loose for the first 2 stages, hoping the track would cool down quite a bit. That's kind of where I was able to get the middle going a little bit more, so just tried to survive those first 2 stages. Then when we got to the last caution, I knew with the track being a few degrees cooler than it was at the start of stage 3 that I could really tape it up, and it'd be a pretty good car to make it to the finish, but just probably needed a couple more laps, and I still don't know if I would have caught Evan. He was pretty fast all race. Same with Chris and Dakota.
Yeah, they were kind of at the front the whole race. We saw you kind of drift around the back half of the top 10. You did pull a strategy a bit earlier, and I think you were up to second at one point, but the car seemed like it just didn't have the speed on the older tires, so you fell back a little bit there. But there was one moment we saw you dive into the corner. I think it was on the old tires, and it just shot up into the wall. Was that just the fact of the old tires, or did something happen there and got you out of, got the tires out of the track?
No, that we think we had like a 2-lap run, and then we got a quick caution. So I think me and I want to say Jeffrey Meyer stayed out. I think Grayson stayed out in second, and I just didn't expect to be on the splitter as much as I was. So when I hit the bump in turn 3, it just shot it right up to the wall. but luckily I just scraped and only had a few seconds of damage.
Yeah, it looked pretty bizarre from our end because you went in and then all of a sudden it just basically went straight. And you did a great job keeping it out of the wall as much as you could, and it obviously didn't hurt it too bad. But do you think that played any role in you not really being able to get up and challenge for the top three? Or was it just the fact that you were too far back and it was too late of a charge?
I think it probably didn't play too much factor. I think the big factor was just that I had kind of set my car up to be needing a lot cooler of a track for how loose I set it up. I was hoping if it got loose and the other three championship contenders had all made their cars tight and good for the start of the race, that I could kind of pull away in stage 3, but the track just didn't cool down as much as I thought it would.
Yeah, and that is the nature of trying to build open setups, right? It's kind of a shot in the dark sometimes, and things go one. Sometimes they go your way, sometimes they don't. But either way, you come out of here second in the championship, so a lot to be proud of this season. You did capture a win, and what are your thoughts on rolling into next season?
Still undecided on my kind of plans for next year. Might go to Cup, might stay down here, but I think either series have been a lot of fun the last few weeks. So I think going in, my expectations would be to win a few races, have some great battles with Chris, Dakota, Evan again, and just kind of just go from there and keep building on this series.
Yeah, 10-4 on that. You've been fun to watch all year. Somehow you always seem to milk a few extra positions out at the end of a race, and you did the exact same thing here, just came up a little bit short. So anybody you want to give a shout out to or thanks to that made this season possible and your second place points finish?
Yep, so Aaron and Jay, again, even though neither one of them were able to run tonight, thanks to them for being good teammates and supporting me all year long. And then thanks to Chris, Dakota, Evan, Dalton, Grayson, and Dylan, who we had a lot of good battles this year. And they were always respectful racing with, so I just want to thank them for having a good year.
Awesome, Chad. Well, once again, you put on a great show week in and week out, and often the guy that was charging up through the pack, and you did that again here in the late going, and you kept it interesting for us. So great season, a lot to be proud of, and I guess we'll see you next year at Daytona.
All right. Thank you, Adam.
Awesome. So that was Chad Guennigsman. Comes home in fourth here. Next on the list is Chris James. Chris James, Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Hey, I got you.
Well, Chris, you were right there in the top three on that last restart, and the car obviously went the wrong way for you here, but you had the lead with about 15 to go, and Evan Longacre all over your back bumper. What happened on that long run, and how did he get by you? Was there anything you could do?
Car's starting to tighten it up. I had made an adjustment to loosen it up for the long run that I thought and hoped was coming. But it was just, we were developed in a real tight condition. I was all over the track searching for grip. I kind of was trying to high line for a bit. But after he passed me, then I was just like, okay, it's go time. And I didn't push the car hard enough. Hats off to Evan. Awesome season, awesome driver. So glad that he won in the fashion that he did. He would have got it had that caution not come out. So he had the car to beat tonight, and it was just a fun race.
Yeah, it looked like a heck of a battle between really the top five there in the last 30 laps or so. You were all pretty much nose to tail, and nobody could get away. So we saw your teammate Dakota obviously get caught up on the back straightaway, but you guys worked so hard, it looks like, on your setups, and the junior motorsports machines consistently week in and week out were contenders here. So, how proud are you of those guys and your efforts here this whole season?
Oh, so proud of the team, and can't wait to get back to it next year. Try to go chase down that championship again. Gonna come back with a fresh mindset and probably put even more hours in than we did this year.
Yeah, and that's when you were talking to Evan. He was saying that they put a ton of time in this week, and he had to basically apologize for it to his wife.
And you know what, Adam? It showed on track. I guarantee you, he put 90% more time into it, and it showed. And all the congratulations in the world to him. Awesome job. This Busch Light I'm drinking right now, this is to you, Evan.
Awesome, Chris. Well, you come out of here third in the points. You get 3 wins on the season, and you end it here with the top 5. A nice solid run for you, but not enough for the championship. Anybody you want to give a shout out to that made this season possible for you and tonight's run as well?
I'll shout out to Junior Motorsports. Got to thank Jonathan Hernandez for giving me my initial shot on the team. Shout out to Rapid Fire Pizza for sponsoring the series, as well as Shorba's Racing Graphics and my team outside of iRacing Fantasy National Series Gen X.
Awesome, Chris. Well, congratulations on a great season. You were often the guy to beat here week in and week out, and just a little bit short tonight, but no doubt you're going to be one of the top contenders again next season, and we're looking forward to it. So go
Me
celebrate.
too, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time. So go celebrate, and we'll catch up with you at Daytona.
All right, appreciate it. See you February.
See you then. And that was your third place in points. Chris James was in the lead late in the going, but not enough to hang on. And I think we're going to talk to Mr. Dakota Jorgensen next. Dakota, this is Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
How's it going, Adam?
Pretty good, and probably a bit disappointed, I would guess. But you had a heck of a race going here tonight, running behind your teammate and up inside the top 5 all race. Only for it to kind of go up in smoke there. Give us a rundown of how your race went and your thoughts on the incident on the back straightaway, and just overall how the car was for you here tonight.
Yeah, first off, I want to say congratulations to Evan for winning. He did a hell of a season from him. But to answer the question, the car was good. Late run, it was starting to get loose. I think we all were loose. I mean, you go back and watch the replay. Any of us in that top 5 were slipping and sliding the whole time. I mean, short to mid run though, the car was actually really good. It sucks what happened. I mean, that happens though. No hard feelings towards Dalton. We already talked it out. I don't think I had anything for Evan anyway. I needed a caution, just didn't need me to be the caution.
Yeah, that's always the kicker, and it looked like Evan was starting to skate away, but you guys in those junior motorsports machines, Jeffrey, yourself, and Chris, you were really the class of the field for basically the majority of the race. You didn't ever get to the top spot, but you were right there behind your teammate for, I'd say, at least 50% of this race. You were right there in the second spot. So, how much does that go to show that your team is really strong and going to be contenders again next season?
Oh yeah, I mean the team, no matter really who's been in the cars, has been strong all year. It's actually been kind of cool to see all of us up, the top 10 at least. But yeah, I mean we'll build on it for next year, depending on who all is going to be, because we have at least one open car next year, so we'll have probably one new driver, but we'll see what happens. It should be a good year next year.
Yeah, based on the performance from you guys this season, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch the junior motorsports machines again. So, I mean, you didn't capture a win on the season. You had a ton of great runs, though, and competitive week in and week out. So, what are you looking most forward to next year? And is there anybody you want to thank for this year's performance as well?
I mean, next year hopefully can get at least one win. Been close a few times. Kentucky had a small chance there. Kansas was really fast before getting that one penalty at the end and having to fight my way up. Texas was another close one. So I mean, I've been knocking on the door all year. It's just breaking through, and usually once you get that first one, they tend to come a little more easier.
Yeah.
But would like to thank you first off for doing this week in, week out. Do a great job each week. Rapid Fire Pizza for being the primary sponsor. Couldn't do it without them. And then Shorba's iRacing Graphics. Jacob does a great job on his paints. I mean, just in the league in general. Wouldn't be here without him. So we'd like to thank pretty much just everyone involved for great racing week in, week out.
Awesome, Dakota. Well, thanks for putting on a show for us here tonight. And you had a heck of a season here. You come home 4th in points, so still a ton to be proud of. You made it all the way through the playoffs, and were a contender here even throughout the whole race. So great run tonight. Not the finish I'm sure you wanted, but definitely a lot to be proud of. So a lot to look forward to next season, and I guess we'll see you when we head to Daytona in February.
All right, thanks, Adam. Have a good off season, bud.
Thank you. You too. And that was 8th place finisher Dakota Jorgensen. He comes home 4th in points. But, of course, tonight's winner, Evan Longacre, the 48 rapid-fired Pizza Camaro. He takes home the victory, his 2nd in 3 races to close out the season. And just an incredible run, clutch performance here as he took the lead with 14 laps to go and captured the victory. Never relenting, never giving up the track position in the end, and holds off on that last restart. So congratulations to Evan on the victory, and to his sponsor, Rapid Fire Pizza, congratulations to them. I want to thank them for sponsoring the series throughout the season, and their driver came out on top, so a lot to be proud of from their side. We also want to give a shout out to Shorba's Racing Graphics, who helps make a lot of this possible as well. So check them out. We'll put the link for their information in the chat. But of course, we're going to run through our results here as we also recap tonight's event. We came in with 4 drivers fighting for the championship, and it was a battle right down to the end. But Evan Longacre came out on top. We had 6 cautions, 2 of those being for stages. We had a total of 7 lead changes, but it was very competitive at the front all race long. Evan Longacre comes out on top, winning the race and the championship, his 2nd victory of the season in his in the last 3 races here as well. So Chip Ganassi Racing finishing 1-2 with Cole Williams in 2nd. He was last week's winner, so Chip Ganassi going 3 for 3, but they will not have a team here next year, and those drivers moving over to Colleague Racing. So going to be a lot to look forward to from Colleague next season with those guys obviously having so much success in the late going here. 3rd place was Jeremy Ogle, who just joined in here fairly recently, so probably his best run of the season, finishing in 3rd. Chad Guennigsman came in as a playoff contender and comes home in 4th. He will finish 2nd in the points. Chris James led a lot of this race. He comes home in 5th, going to finish 3rd in the playoff standings. But a great season from him with 3 victories as well. Jeffrey Meyer powers back to a 6th place finish. Good run for him after winning stage 1. Kevin Roy finishes in 7th. A very quiet night from that car, but he comes home with a nice top 10. Dakota Jorgensen recovers to an 8th place finish, but not what he was looking for after running up in the top 5 all race. Stephen Parks comes home with a quiet 9th place finish. And Carson Bowers rounds out the top 10. Great run from him as well. In 11th, it was Hilton Young. 12th was Tyler White. Cole Hooper finishes in 13th. 14th was Cole Early. 15th was Dalton Williamson, who was up in the top 5 before getting caught up with Dakota Jorgensen. Grayson Sullivan comes home in the 16th position. Matthew Williford comes home in 17th. Zach Adams comes home in 18th. Brandon Maciejewski comes home 19th. And Tim Rivers comes home in the 20th position. In 21st, it was Dylan Canova, who actually started on the pole here and led the first 20 laps of the race, but got caught up with Jeffrey Meyer while they were battling it out for that win. So he takes it behind the wall early, finishes in the 21st spot. 22nd was Cody Jordan. 23rd, Logan Helton, who did not actually start tonight's race. Neither did James Love or Brandon Andrews, as they were just watching in here, adminning this race. So Evan Longacre comes out on top here. The finale from Homestead Miami Speedway, brought to you by Rapid Fired Pizza and Shorba's Racing Graphics. That will conclude this season of the iRacing Fantasy National Series, and we want to thank you so much for tuning in here tonight and this season. And we'll be back right here on Twitch tomorrow night with the iRacing Fantasy Cup Series. So follow or subscribe if you haven't here on Twitch, and stay notified of what we're doing by turning on notifications. You can also find us on YouTube, where we post race replays from the week before, so you can check out last week's events at ISM and then we'll put these races up in about a week's time. So you can check us out over there. You can find us on Facebook, where we post announcements for each and every broadcast as we go live. And with the Fantasy Cup Series and National Series wrapping up, we do have other series starting to load in here for the winter with the Ford Entertainment Group Winter Series, as well as we have the Norris Force Valhalla Cup Series and the SK Modified Series from them as well. So some great racing from those leagues, so tune in to check those out. You can also find us on Instagram and Twitter, where we post the same announcements, as well as new merchandise, special events, and on-site reporting. So we want to thank you so much for tuning in here this season. I want to thank all the sponsors once again. And this has been the finale from Homestead Miami Speedway. 100 laps in the books. Evan Longacre for the Rapid Fired Pizza number 48 team comes home the champion and the winner of the race. A heck of a battle and a heck of a ride here. So looking forward to next year with this series. And I guess until then, until tomorrow night with the Cup Series, stay safe and have a great night.